And we were talking about the extraordinary changes that have taken place in the global energy system over the past few years, and just the importance of recognizing the strategic consequences of that development vis-a-vis the end of European dependency on Russian energy, the rise of the United States, and the dramatic growth of America's LNG industry, the growth in our crude oil production, what that means for our strategic interests in the transatlantic context, but also globally. So in many ways, what happened on January 1st, which was a real historic turning point, I think, for Europe and especially for the Ukrainians, was an indicator of how that world has changed and how important that those of us who are engaged in thinking about U.S. national security and our strategic interests incorporate that into our algorithm. So, as you noted, Ukraine for decades had been the major channel of Russian gas transit to Europe. President Zelensky pointed out that 25 years ago, 130 BCM a year were flowing through Ukraine to European markets. Today, that number is 0. There was a very strong statement that the White House spokesperson, John Kirby, offered last week, highlighting the enormous strategic defeat that this represents for Vladimir Putin. The fact that Gazprom is going to lose $6 billion a year of revenue, which goes straight to pay for the drones and missiles that are destroying Ukrainian cities and hospitals and schools. But also the fact that Russia has lost its traditionally most important energy market. And I'm convinced there's no coming back. Slovakia, Hungary, Austria, basically is what you're talking about. Yes. There. I think this is ultimately, this is a question for Brussels. And the decision has clearly been made in Brussels to get to 0 by 2027. I think it's very important that Commissioner Jorgensen has outlined a target of having a concrete plan for full de-Russification within 100 days. And the United States strongly supports that goal.